Yay, Algebra! We are continuing to work our way through PO7. Yesterday we talked about combining like terms, the distributor property, all that's review from last year, PO61. And then PO62 was all about variables on both sides. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Kind of the third type of equation you might come across that you'll need to manipulate, right? Because in order to solve for a variable, it doesn't do us any good to have two variable terms on different sides of the equation. Okay, in combining like terms, we saw that we had two variable terms, right? And we combined them. 9x minus 4x gave us 5x. But what do we do if those two variable terms are on opposite sides of the equal sign? We can't just combine them the way we did with combining like terms, otherwise this would be in the same section. Okay, we have to do something else. And the key is we are moving one of the variable terms to the other side. And we've talked about moving things from one side of an equation to the other in the past. What method did we use? Or did I recommend that you use? Opposite operations. Whenever you move something from one side of an equation to the other, you're using opposite operations. So the goal here is, again, create a two-step equation. That's kind of been the goal for all these because the two-step equations are comfort zone here, right? Create a two-step equation by using, I should have made two lines for this one too, opposite operations to move variables to one side. All right, create a two-step equation by using opposite operations to move variables to one side. I could do OO. Or I could do that. That is true. The beauty of life is that we have options and choices.
You just do guess and check.
I could do ABBA. That's also an option. Yep. Anyway, so 16x minus 5 equals 12x plus 23. Does it matter which side of the equal sign we move our variables to? It doesn't. Okay. So if you're an optimist and you typically think positively, you can do that. You can subtract 12x from the right side, subtract 12x from the left side, and you will get positive 4x minus 5 equals 23. Right? We're taking that group of 12x's and moving it to the left side to combine or put with the other 16x's that we have there. Okay. Now, why aren't I dividing by 12 here? Typically, we have a coefficient in a variable we would divide by 12, right? Why am I subtracting those 12 x's? Why not use division here? Why subtract?
Because it's like the same number. They're not numbered, but like it's not like 8n divided by 8. It's like
Yeah. When I use division, like 8n divided by 8, I'm separating the 8 from the n, right? The n stays where it's at. The 8 gets canceled out. Here, I want to move all 12 x's. I'm picking up the 12 x's. I'm moving them to the other side. Okay? And so that's why we're using subtraction, because I'm not splitting this term off. I'm keeping it as 12x. Now, I heard someone mumble, I don't get it. Who is confused and needs help?
I have to do practice with numbers.
Yeah, I mean it's a good review, okay? But think of this: if you're not quite getting it with the opposite operations, think like a basketball score, okay? If you are ahead of your opponent 16-12, isn't that kind of the same as being ahead 4-0?
That's what I think of it.
Really?
That's what I think of it.
Right? But you're up by 4. Whether the score is 4-0, 16-12, or 100-96, you're up by 4, essentially, right? In this equation, the left side of the equation is up by 4 because it has 4 more x's. And so when you subtract those 12 x's from the right side, it's like you've got 0 x's left there, you've got 4 over here because you have 4 more than to start with. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
Kind of maybe. Okay. But now that we've done that, now we've got a 2-step equation to solve here. We're going to add 5 to both sides. 4x equals 28. Divide by 4, x equals 7. Okay.
Oh, wait.
Oh, we have to do that.
Well, you have to actually solve it, yes. Yeah. No, we're
Wait, is
not.
that the same for the?
Yes, I said yesterday we weren't done. You have to
No,
actually
no.
solve the 2
PO6.
step. Yes, a 2-step equation is PO6. That's why it's the comfort zone,
Oh,
right?
like the first page.
We have to solve
We have to solve it.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And I said that
Well, I didn't have
yesterday.
a
I said
calculator.
we're not done,
I still
right?
don't
We
have
still have to
one.
solve for x. But the fact that now it's a 2-step equation, it's just like PO6. Sorry if it wasn't clear enough yesterday. That's probably on me.
We have to solve the one that PO7 part 1 on the first.
Well, let's not worry about that now. Let's focus on getting this down because it sounds like there's some people who are
No, like on
kind
the
of,
first, on the first page. We have to
you
solve.
you will, yes, but don't worry about that quite yet. Okay. Is there? I'm not quite sure we're all on board with this yet.
I am. We did this last time.
I know,
Yeah,
and
but
it wasn't PO on your entrance exam, but I still feel like maybe there's some doubters or you don't believe me that this. No? Okay. Well,
The matrix.
if you have questions,
Can you
stop
do
me,
the
please.
third one?
Um,
We should do all of them.
hold on. Hey, hold on. The amount of homework that you have will largely depend on how much I'm able to teach you. The other day in geometry, they annoyed me so much that instead of actually teaching them, I just linked to my YouTube video on the lesson from last year and then watch that, and that was the lesson for the day. I just got to go on Facebook. It was great. Okay. I don't want to do that every time though, because then parents will start to talk, right? So let me do my thing, and then we can. Yes.
How does x equal 7? I don't get it.
Do you understand how we got to 4x minus 5 equals 23?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then plus 5.
Yep.
And then a plus 5 on the other side.
Yep.
That got me 28.
Yep.
And 4x equals 28.
Right.
Divide 4 by 4.
Nope. Well, yes. You have to cancel that 4 out.
And then divide 28 by 4.
Yes. What do you get when you divide 28 by 4?
7.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And here's how you can check that answer too. You know, if you we talked about how you can check your answers here. If you take 16 times 7 and subtract 5, then it's going to be equal to 12 times 7 and then add 23, right? 16 times 7 is 112. Minus 5 is 107. 12 times 7 is 84. Plus 23 is also 107.
It is?
Right? It is. So you check these answers by plugging that value back into the original equation. And because it says that these two sides are equal, you know the two sides are going to be equal.
I like guess and check.
Right?
Guess and check, Rob.
I do that on my test.
Wouldn't the 4x minus 5 equals 23, wouldn't that become a negative 5? Because that's a minus 5?
It is a negative 5, and so it's the opposite of that would be a positive 5 or adding 5 to it. Yeah. Priya,
For the third one.
we're not there yet. Let's not jump too far ahead. We will talk about the third one. Okay. I did say that you can move the terms to either side. If you're an optimistic person, you want to keep things positive, you can move that 12x over to the left. If you're a pessimist, you tend to look on the negative side of things. You can move our 16x's over to the right side by subtracting 16x's. And that'll give you negative 5 equals negative 4x plus 23. Notice our 4x's are now on the other side, but they're negative. If I move them back over to the left, they'd be positive here. You'll find you'll get the same answer. Because your process for solving this now is subtracting 23 from both sides, which gives you negative 28 equals negative 4x. And Christopher, what's negative 28 divided by negative 4? 7. So you get the same answer either way, right? So it doesn't matter which side you move the variables to, you will get the same result as long as you do the algebra correctly. Okay? Other questions on this? Okay, let's look at the next one. Negative 8n plus 8 equals 5n minus 18. Now this one doesn't quite fit in like a basketball score because you can't have negative points in basketball, but you can get negative scores in what sport?
Golf.
Golf. Let's say that you are, and those that don't know golf, we're talking about par here, but let's say that someone is 8 below par, their score is minus 8, and you've got someone who's at positive 5. How far ahead, or how many strokes ahead, is the person who's got the minus 8? 13 strokes. Watch what happens if I use opposite operations to subtract 5n, because that's the opposite of a positive 5n, from both sides. 5 n's, take them away, I've got 0 n's. What's negative 8 minus 5? Boom, goes the dynamite. Negative 13, right? You can think about this as, how many fewer n's do I have on the left and the right? I got negative 8 n's, negative 8 strokes, versus positive 5 strokes. That's a total of 13 fewer strokes on the left. And we see that mathematically it comes to fruition, subtracting 5n to move those 5n's over to create this two-step equation, right? Negative 8 minus 5 is a negative 13. Okay? Yes. Emily.
On these two right here, you're gonna need to use guess and check.
No, we do never need to use guess
How are
and
we
check.
gonna use?
We'll get there. Let me wow you. Okay? Now we've got a two-step equation. We would subtract 8 from both sides. Negative 13n equals negative 26. Negative 18 minus 8, negative 26. Divide both sides by negative 13. And we get n equals positive 2. N equals positive 2. Yes, sir?
Can you do the next one?
That would seem to make sense since I'm done with this one.
Yeah.
I'll move on to the next one.
I didn't know if you were gonna.
Yeah. Any questions on this one though? Before I go on to the next one?
No.
As requested? Okay. Priya, Chance, what's your beef with the next one here?
It's hard. I got 32. No, there's no solution.
Priya says that it's hard. Chance says there's no solution. Mario got 32, I assume by guessing and checking.
No.
I
have an answer. I did not guess and check.
What'd you get?
30.
30?
Yeah.
30, okay. So, here's the situation here, okay?
It's zero. It's
zero.
Let me explain.
No number is always one.
There's no solution. It's saying negative 12 is 18.
Okay, saying there's no solution means that there's not an answer in math. The reason why I teach math is because there's always an answer in math.
Yeah.
So let's find
Your
it.
answer is no solution. Where is my 9y?
All right, Hugo, Chance, Tatum, defend your position. Why is this no solution?
So you're the smart one.
Well, if you subtract 9y from both sides, you get negative 12 equals positive 18.
You're telling me that's not true?
That's what I did.
No, it's
not.
Okay, hold on. All right. So, you may have come across this before, perhaps not.
No.
But if you ever have the same term on both sides of an equation, you can remove that term and not change our scale, right? Not change the value because it's the same thing. If you remove the same thing from both sides, the equation is going to remain balanced. So whatever y is, if I take 9y's away from the left and take 9y's away from the right, I haven't really changed the value of the equation. Because I took the same thing away. Furthermore, if we actually did the math of subtracting 9y from both sides, they end up canceling out on both sides because 9y minus 9y equals 0. Okay? So now, as Hugo said, we're left with this equation that says negative 12 is equal to 18. And Hugo claims that that is not true. Do we have an agreement?
Yes.
Negative 12 is not equal to 18. So what do we do? No solution. Okay? And think about this logically. Think about it. Okay. Obviously, y is going to be the same number for both of the y variables, right? If I plug in 2 for y, or 5 for y, or 8 for y, or whatever y is, if I multiply it by 9 and then subtract 12, then take the same value for y, again multiply by 9 and add 18, will those two things ever be the same? No, because whatever 9y is, it'll be the same number on both sides. On one of them, I take away 12. The other one, I add 18. Those will never be equal. Okay? So how you do it is there is no.
Y equals whatever number you want, right?
Well, not really, because if I plug in anything for y, the equation will never be the same.
Yeah.
Okay? The answer, as Hugo said, is no solution. There is no value for y that is going to make the equation true. Well, I wanted to kind of play it up a little bit.
That doesn't count.
I know, I want to play it up a little bit. You know, the big reveal, right?
Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, no. So it's not 0, because hey folks, if I plug in 0 for y, on this side, 9 times 0 minus 12 is negative 12. 9 times 0 plus 18 is 18. Negative 12 is not equal to 18. So it's not 0, it is no solution. This is not a 0, that's a 0 with a line through it. It means no solution. Okay? There's no possible value for y you could plug in there that will make the equation true. Because subtracting 12 and adding 18 to the same value, 9y, is not going to end up being. Your guess and check will go on forever. Essentially, yeah. You would never find one that.
Well, you just get lucky.
No, Gus, there's literally no solution to this. No real number, no imaginary number, nada. Okay?
What if
It's the next
number,
one.
but it's
Nine plus one.
No.
Okay.
We got 3 minutes to cover the last one, so let's go over the last one, because the last one is similar to this. Hey, the last one is similar in that we have the 8 ends on both sides. There is some work we can do. We can combine like terms, because our 2 and 5 are on the same side. What do we get on the left side when we combine the like terms here? Evelyn. Oh, I thought your hand was up.
7.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7.
Okay, so we have 8n plus 7 on the left, because 2 plus 5 is 7. We don't use opposite operations because they're on the same side, right? We're not moving them, we're combining them. And on the right side, we have 8n plus 7 as well. Now, tell me what's going to happen here if I plug in a number for n, I multiply it by 8 on both sides, and then I add 7 to it on both sides. What's going to happen, Mario?
It's going to be everything.
It can be anything, right? No matter what I plug in here, if I do the exact same thing to it, multiply by 8 and add 7, these two sides will always be equal because they're literally the same expression on both sides of the equation. So it makes sense that if an equation can have no solution, there also must be a special type of equation that can be all solutions.
All real numbers.
And the solution, or the symbol for all solutions, looks like a double-stemmed R. You want to make like an 11, and then start at the first vertical line and kind of make an R with the front one. Okay? That means all real numbers or all real solutions. Anything you plug in for n is going to work. Okay?
Can we just like skip part 2?
Yeah.
Why? Because you were chatting during class, I should reduce your homework?
He's challenged.
Gus!
I got a compromise. Can we do like half of each page on PO whatever? Part 2? Can we just do half of it?
And then do half.
I'm even better. I wish I had my button bar up. I would deny that so quick. No, here's what you're going to do for homework. Everything's been shifted a day. Oh man, because we have a retake day Friday. For Monday, you need to have all of PO7 parts 1 and 2 fully complete. Okay, for Monday. Parts 1 and 2 of PO7 fully
Are you going to
complete.
teach us how to do PO2? Or I mean the second one?
Part 2 is just more practice than this. Yeah, it's the exact same thing, it's more practice. So, no homework due tomorrow. You have con due tomorrow night. If you haven't done it, I recommend doing that tonight, okay? And no homework due tomorrow. We'll continue our conversation on this then. That's how you math.
Don't forget to unlike and